Video opens with dramatic shots of old maps, treasure galleons, and towering cathedrals picture an empire so vast that the sun genuinely never set on its territories. In the 16th century, this wasn't Britain. This was Spain. From Europe to the Americas, from Africa to Asia, its dominion was unmatched. They even coined the phrase, the empire on which the sun never sets. Yet, this colossal power, the first truly global empire, would collapse under the weight of its own unimaginable treasure. This is the story of how Spain, drowning in gold and silver, bankrupted itself and lost the world. It all started after 1492. In the Americas, Spain didn't just find new lands, it found a jackpot. The mines of the New World, like the infamous Potosi and gruesomely nicknamed the mountain that eats men, unleashed a torrent of precious metals. Between 1500 and 1650, Spain extracted a staggering 180,000 tons of silver and 2,000 tons of gold. To put that in perspective, that was more silver than all of Europe had mined in the previous 1,000 years. This treasure didn't just make Spain rich, it created the world's first globalized economy, connecting the markets of Europe, the Americas, and Asia with threads of silver. Spain's lead was immense. While England's first permanent colony at Jamestown was a struggling, muddy outpost in 1607, cities like Mexico City and Lima were already bustling metropolises with universities, cathedrals, and printing presses. The Spanish settlement of St. Augustine, Florida, was founded in 1565, for decades, before Jamestown even existed. Spain was building global infrastructure while its rivals were still just dipping their toes in the colonial water. They were light years ahead. So, what went wrong? Here lies the fatal mistake. Spain confused treasure with true wealth. They believed that owning mountains of silver was the same as having a strong economy. The result was a catastrophic economic phenomenon known as the price revolution. With so much new money flooding the market, prices across Europe quadrupled between 1500 and 1600. The value of Spanish currency plummeted. At first, the elites and nobles and bankers got rich, but for ordinary Spaniards, life became impossibly expensive. The more silver that arrived from the New World, the poorer the average person became. The treasure had become a poison, hollowing out the nation from the inside. Instead of investing this incredible windfall into building up their own industries like textiles, shipbuilding, or agriculture, Spain did the opposite. Why make something when you can just buy it? The Spanish crown and nobility spent lavishly on luxury goods imported from Italy, France, and the Netherlands. The economy became one of consumption, not production. While foreign merchants and craftsmen grew rich selling goods to Spain, Spanish industries withered and died. The country became a mere pipeline, a conduit for American silver to flow straight into the pockets of its economic rivals. And where did the rest of the money go? War. Endless, ruinously expensive war. The Habsburg rulers of Spain saw themselves as the champions of Catholicism, and they used their silver to fund a crusade across Europe. They fought the Ottoman Empire in the Mediterranean, tried to crush the Dutch revolt in the Netherlands, launched the infamous Spanish Armada against England in 1588, and poured money and men into the devastating 30 Years' War. These conflicts were a black hole for Spanish finances, devouring treasure as fast as the fleets could bring it across the Atlantic. Soon, even the largest treasure shipments weren't enough. The Spanish crown began living on credit, borrowing enormous sums from German and Genoese bankers, using future silver shipments as collateral. But what happens when those shipments are late, or worse, captured by pirates? Disaster. Spain, the world's richest empire, began to default on its loans. It declared state bankruptcy not once, not twice, but 4 times in just over 50 years. In 1557, 1596, and again in 1607. Imagine the wealthiest nation on earth going bankrupt every couple of decades. It was a sign of a deeply broken system. Spain's rivals, England and the Netherlands, saw their chance. They understood Spain's weakness. Its entire financial system depended on those treasure fleets. They realized that to break the empire, They didn't need to invade Spain itself, they just had to attack its money supply. This was the golden age of piracy, but it was also strategic economic warfare. English privateers like Sir Francis Drake became national heroes. In one voyage, Drake seized enough Spanish treasure to equal half of the English crown's entire annual revenue. In 1628, the Dutch admiral Piet Hein achieved the ultimate prize, capturing an entire, fully laden, Spanish treasure fleet, a hull with a staggering 11 million guild. Each captured galleon didn't just represent lost silver. It sent shockwaves through Spain's credit system, causing financial panics and bankruptcies. And what did the English and Dutch do with this stolen silver? They didn't just spend it, they reinvested it. They built stronger navies, funded innovative companies like the East India Company, and developed modern financial institutions like the Amsterdam Stock Exchange. While Spain was extracting and spending, its rivals were building self-sustaining systems for creating wealth. By the mid-1600s, the writing was on the wall. Spain was a giant on the map, but it was financially hollow. The once invincible Armada was a shadow of its former self. Hyperinflation had destroyed the prosperity of its people. Crushing debt and taxes stifled any chance of recovery. The Dutch and the English, fueled by new models of capitalism and trade, were rising to take Spain's place on the world stage. The story of the Spanish Empire's collapse is more than just a history lesson. It's a timeless warning. It teaches us that treasure is not true wealth. Real wealth is created through production, innovation, and stable economic systems. A flood of easy money, whether it's silver from a mine or a currency from a printing press, will always lead to ruin if it isn't backed by real productivity. Spain's fragile system, where the fate of an empire rested on a few ships crossing an ocean, mirrors the vulnerabilities in our own modern financial world. It shows how quickly a system built on consumption over creation can crumble. The lesson is clear. Empires and economies are not sustained by what they can dig from the ground, but by what they can build with their hands and their minds. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into history as fascinating as I did, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next story. See you next time.